It's draft week in the NFL. The top prospects from around the country hope to hear their names called to an NFL franchise. A couple of mock drafts just for you in this week's return edition of Tri-State Sports. Let's hit it and get it started.
I could trip a referee, tell by my attitude that I most definitely from.
Okay, so it's mock draft time. My final mock draft as of tonight is the first round of the NFL draft. No trades for this one. Let's cut right to it. The New York Jets, we started pick 7. We're sticking with tight end from Penn State, Tyler Warren. Big, physical, can do it all. Needs a little more reps, honestly, if we're talking about just from a starting role. He's not Brock Bowers, I'll say that, but he could certainly be a top 5 tight end in this league. And a fun fact for all of you, my father graduated with his aunt years ago at Montclair High School. So there's a little bit of a connection there and maybe a little bit of bias, so to say. Now we head to the second round. Pick 42, Tyleik Williams, defensive tackle from Ohio State. He returns to these mock drafts. And look, I like him. Assuming the Jets can't get Emeka Egbuka or Luther Burden in a trade-up, Matthew Golden, so to say, I think this guy makes a lot of sense. Putting him next to Quinnen Williams, it's certainly something that I would be excited about. Moving on to pick 73, third round, the Mastodon out of Boston College, 6'9", 308 pounds, Ozzy Trapilo. This kid, I got to tell you, this kid's got massive arms, a massive frame, and he is a very, very, very good pass blocker and good on the run blocking too. He's one of those linemen that slips to the later rounds and can be developed with the right coaching staff. I would love to see his name called. And at pick 110, another return. We're going wide receiver, Ty Felton out of Maryland. Again, I've said it time and time again. The physicality, the speed, the agility, it's stuff to really keep your eye on in the later rounds for these receivers because this is just something that you need out of the receiving core. Right now, heading into tonight, we have Garrett Wilson as our only receiving threat. That's it. I like Josh Reynolds. I like Malachi Corley, but we don't know about them yet. Reynolds is a little older. Corley is still unproven. So I want these guys on the team. But it's up to Aaron Glenn and Darren Mucci to actually hit on the picks, regardless if I like them or not. A couple of potential other names of intrigue. Right tackle, Armand Membo out of Missouri. I've seen this guy mocked to the Jets at 7 more than anybody else. Personally, I don't know if we're going to take him. If we take him, I'll be happy, but I prefer Tyler Warren. Mason Graham, defensive tackle out of Michigan, is certainly another option if he slips past the Jaguars and the Raiders. That's a big if. We'll end this off with Torrey Horton, wide receiver, Colorado State. The injury ended his season abruptly, but I would say he's got speed and he's very hard to tackle, which, let's face it, the Jets need receivers anywhere. Let's head to Big Blue now, the New York Giants. Pick 3, we're sticking with Abdul Carter, edge out of Penn State. Bigger than Micah Parsons, not as polished at the edge position, but I certainly like him. Obviously, being a Penn State fan, there's a little bias towards it, only a little, but Abdul Carter comes as advertised, and everybody around the country knows it. Pick 34, Jalen Milroe stays here at Alabama. I like Milroe's physicality. I like his speed. Not a great thrower. That's stuff that coaching needs to help him out with. And I think Brian Dable is the type of guy to help those kind of players out. I look at Milroe. I see a very raw player, but a very interesting prospect with a high ceiling. And that's stuff that you got to take a risk on because after this, you check your watches. Coach Dable, GM Shane, you're out of time after this year if you don't at least compete or win games. But I digress. 65, third round, Shamar Turner, Texas A&M, defensive tackle. And I like this guy. And this guy is slipping through the cracks, and I think putting him next to Dexter Lawrence would make an incredible duo. I hope the Giants take him because he is a big man. The Giants need some linebacker help. So to wrap this up, pick 99, Danny Stutzman out of Oklahoma. Explosive, hard-hitting, fast, agile, everything you need in a late-round linebacker. Danny Stutzman is the guy for you. Oklahoma, they had a good one, and I would say this would be a fairly successful draft for the Giants and the Jets, so to say. before we finish off here, we're obviously going to put out the other names of intrigue. Travis Hunter, the corner wide receiver out of Colorado. Look, I think it's fairly obvious at this point. It's either Cleveland or the Giants or Travis Hunter. And I think before it might have been Travis Hunter, but recently with what we've been hearing, I think it's going to be Abdul Carter. Jackson Dart, we've been hearing his names rumbling a lot recently. And I think that could also be another aim of intrigue because you look at what the Giants have said about Jackson Dart and Joe Shane's own son reposting some of his stuff. They might like this kid, and they could trade up back into the first round and get him. We'll end this with Alfred Collins, defensive tackle out of Texas. The largest arms in the draft, I think. This guy just bull rushes through any center that's up against him. And again, much like Shamar Turner, I think he could fit very nicely next to Dexter Lawrence. So we're going to see what happens. I cannot wait for tonight. On that note, though, it's going to do it for this episode. Happy NFL Draft Week. Happy NBA playoffs. Go Knicks. You guys have a great rest of your day. And as always, same old Jets.